Can you imagine being in the Roman Colosseum, about to fight, walking through the dark corridors, and suddenly the doors open? In front of you stands Flamma, the undefeated Secutor. What would you feel as you step into the arena, approaching him while hearing the crowd roaring with excitement? Or imagine being at a strategic banquet with Charlemagne. Picture yourself on D-Day, ready to jump from a plane over occupied France, or riding across the desert with Genghis Khan. Perhaps sitting with Plato, reflecting by the Aegean Sea. Each of these scenarios offers you a unique and intense perspective on history, not just as an observer but as an active participant. How would your view of the past change if you could experience it so vividly? But this is not just a dream. Virtual reality is advancing by leaps and bounds, and companies around the world are working to improve and develop technology that allows us to live these experiences. Can you imagine studying history this way? It won't just be about reading dates and events anymore. It will be a total immersion into the most incredible moments of humanity. Now, let's go even further. Imagine landing near the geysers of Enceladus, one of Saturn's moons. You see ice, water vapor, and organic particles spewing from the ground, while you wonder if life could exist beneath that frozen surface. But it's not all about space. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to dive into a prehistoric ocean and swim alongside the megalodon? This technology will allow you not only to see but also to feel what life was like in ancient times, offering an educational and thrilling experience that goes beyond any history class. It will be an experience that no classroom could ever offer. The applications of virtual reality are endless. Imagine standing inside an erupting volcano or navigating the human body, watching neural activity light up your brain like fireworks. Every detail is perfect, every sensation real. History, science, art, medicine, everything will change. But what about advances in sensory immersion? Recent developments in virtual reality, VR, are pushing sensory immersion to new levels, particularly in olfactory experiences and environmental simulation, such as wind and rain. Researchers have developed wireless, miniaturized olfactory interfaces that allow users to experience a wide range of scents with precision, enhancing immersion in both virtual and augmented reality environments. These devices are small and portable, integrating seamlessly into current VR setups. For example, some systems use skin-adhered devices or masks that can deliver multiple types of scents in real time, making them useful for entertainment, education, and medical applications. In terms of simulating environments like wind and rain, haptic feedback devices have evolved to include more detailed tactile sensations. Some systems offer real-time wind simulations using specialized VR peripherals, and experimental prototypes can simulate rain using fog or temperature-controlled elements, further enriching the virtual experience. These technologies aim to make virtual reality more realistic, creating multisensory environments that go beyond just visual and auditory stimuli. But let's go back to space for a moment, because virtual reality is also revolutionizing the way we train astronauts. Before going into space, astronauts can practice every maneuver in simulations so detailed that they feel almost identical to real conditions. Walking outside a spacecraft, repairing machinery in the vacuum of space, or even facing emergency situations, all of this can be experienced and rehearsed safely in a simulation room on Earth. This reduces risks, eliminates the astronomical costs of real-life tests, and allows for much more efficient training. But it's not just useful for astronauts. Can you imagine studying astronomy in a class where you don't just read about the stars, but you can actually fly among them? VR allows students and scientists to explore the universe in a completely new way. With VR, you can navigate between galaxies, watch stars being born, and closely observe phenomena that you could only imagine before. This tool has transformed the field of scientific education, making the abstract tangible, the distant accessible, and the impossible possible. The integration of artificial intelligence with virtual reality also promises a future where simulations will not only be more detailed but predictive. That is, they won't just recreate scenarios based on past data, but will simulate possible futures. What happens when two galaxies collide? What effects would a nearby black hole have on a neighboring star? Scientists can experience these events, observe the outcomes, and adjust their theories based on what they see. This not only enhances research but allows scientists to validate their hypotheses in ways that were unimaginable before. And here's where things get even more interesting: medicine. Virtual reality is transforming the way we train doctors, allowing them to practice surgeries without risks, rehabilitate injured patients, and treat psychological disorders. But the advances don't stop there. We may be close to seeing surgeries performed remotely, using AI technology, reducing costs and improving accessibility. And don't forget education. Imagine a future where medical students don't just study from textbooks or in labs, but can practice surgeries in virtual environments so realistic that every cut, every suture, feels as if they were operating on a real human being. The feedback is immediate. Everything is measured and adjusted in real time. Students don't just learn theory, they acquire practical skills much faster, without the risk of making fatal mistakes on real patients. This not only improves the quality of doctors but also reduces training times and opens new possibilities for medicine worldwide. And if you think this only affects the fields of science and medicine, think again. Virtual reality is changing the way we understand everything, from history to physics, from art to psychology and culture. Think about how history is taught today. We read books, watch documentaries, or visit museums. But with virtual reality, history becomes a lived experience. It's no longer just about reading about the construction of the pyramids of Giza. It's about walking on the plains of Giza in 2570 BC, hearing the sounds of construction tools, while gazing at the vast Egyptian desert. You can observe how the engineers and workers raise these wonders, be among them as they discuss their techniques, and see firsthand how historical events unfolded that left behind a monumental legacy. This radically changes the way we learn and understand the past. And archaeology. Can you imagine exploring ancient ruins without leaving your house? With virtual reality, you can visit the pyramids of Egypt, walk through the lost city of Petra, or explore Mayan temples as if you were really there. Archaeologists are already using VR to recreate sites that have been destroyed or damaged over time, allowing people to experience them as they were in their heyday. But it's not just about observing. In some cases, you can interact with the environment, move objects, decipher hieroglyphs, and learn directly from the civilizations that built them. This opens an entirely new window into our understanding of the past. Now imagine you're an artist or a designer. With virtual reality, you can step directly into your creations. You're no longer limited by the canvas or physical space. You can design three-dimensional sculptures that surround the viewer, create paintings that come to life around them, or even build entire worlds where the laws of physics bend to your will. The museums of the future might be full of artistic experiences that are not just observed but lived. Art becomes an immersive experience, capable of changing with every step you take and every movement you make within the virtual space. And when it comes to entertainment, the possibilities are endless. Movies will no longer simply be something you watch on a screen. Imagine being inside the movie, part of the action. You can walk the streets of Gotham with Batman or sail through the galaxy aboard the Millennium Falcon. Video games are already exploring this territory, but cinema and television will soon follow. You will no longer be a passive spectator. You'll be an active participant in the story, making decisions and shaping the outcome of the narrative. This creates a new form of storytelling, where each viewer has a unique and personal experience. Even tourism is being transformed by virtual reality. Want to visit Paris but don't have the time or money to travel? With virtual reality, you can walk through the streets of the city, see the Eiffel Tower from any angle, and explore museums and galleries as if you were really there. Sure, nothing replaces the physical experience of travel, but VR allows people to experience places they might not otherwise be able to visit. And for travelers, VR can be a tool for planning trips, exploring destinations before booking, or revisiting favorite places after having been there. But let's get more serious for a moment. We've talked about how virtual reality is transforming entertainment, education, medicine, and even space exploration, but what about the social and psychological consequences? What happens when people prefer to live in virtual worlds rather than interact with the physical reality? Experts are already debating the possible effects of spending too much time in virtual environments. Some studies suggest that prolonged use of virtual reality can affect body perception, spatial perception, and even social skills. We cannot ignore the ethical implications of this technological advance. What happens if VR becomes an escape for those looking to avoid reality? Or if the line between the real and the virtual becomes so blurred that we can no longer distinguish one from the other? These are issues that scientists, philosophers, and lawmakers will need to address as the technology continues to advance. Moreover, there are concerns about privacy and security. If everything you do in a virtual world can be monitored and recorded, who has access to that data? Imagine your interactions in a VR environment being used to influence your decisions in the real world, from what products you buy to how you vote in an election. With the advancement of artificial intelligence and data collection algorithms, this is no small concern. Tech companies will need to establish clear and transparent measures to protect users' privacy and ensure that VR is used ethically. But back to the positive side, virtual reality also has the potential to change the way we connect with each other. Imagine having a face-to-face conversation with a friend on the other side of the world, feeling as if you're both in the same room. Or attending a work meeting in a VR environment, where all participants are present virtually but can interact and collaborate as if they were physically together. This could reduce the need for travel, decrease our carbon footprint, and improve the quality of life by allowing people to work and socialize from anywhere in the world. Education will also benefit. We've already discussed how VR can transform the teaching of history, science, and medicine, but imagine how these tools could be applied to other fields. From engineering to music, from architecture to literature, virtual reality can offer immersive learning experiences that make complex concepts easier to understand. Students could explore architectural buildings in 3D, dissect musical compositions while hearing how each note affects the piece, or even step into a novel, walking alongside characters as the plot unfolds around them. This not only makes learning more engaging, but also allows students to interact with the material in entirely new ways. As virtual reality continues to advance, one thing is clear: the possibilities are limitless. From exploring space to immersing yourself in the most crucial moments of history, from treating diseases to creating new forms of art, VR has the power to change every aspect of our lives. But with that power comes responsibility. We must ensure that these advances are used ethically, equitably, and sustainably. So, as we look to the future, ask yourself, what would you like to experience? What moment in history would you like to live through? What corner of the universe would you like to explore? What skills would you like to learn in a completely new way? Virtual reality is here, and it's ready to take us beyond the limits of our imagination. The possibilities are infinite, and all you need to do is put on the headset and take the first step into a world where anything is possible. To wrap up, let me leave you with a couple of funny anecdotes that have happened due to the great immersion that virtual reality offers. But before that, if you're enjoying this video, I invite you to subscribe and give us a like. Now, let's get to the anecdotes. During a virtual reality demonstration at a famous museum, one visitor was so immersed in the experience that they forgot they weren't really there. They approached a door in the simulation, tried to open it, and when they couldn't, they asked the museum guide if the door was stuck. Everyone had a good laugh as they realized just how convincing the simulation was, though, of course, that door only existed in the virtual world. In another instance, during a VR experience where users could walk among dinosaurs, one participant was so absorbed in the prehistoric world that when a T-Rex appeared roaring near them, they ripped off the headset and ran out of the room. Everyone present couldn't stop laughing, as the immersion was so real that the user completely forgot they weren't in any real danger. Thanks for joining us on this VR adventure full of curiosities. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to comment on which fact surprised you the most. And if there's any curiosity you want to know more about, leave it in the comments. We'd love to discover new stories together for the next video.